Hi, Janine.
Hi, Debbie.
So we're waiting for a guest right now, and maybe you can tell everyone a little bit about her.
All right, so we are going to have a woman named Jessi on this evening. She is a sensitive and a very talented musician here in San Diego. She has had plenty of experiences with the paranormal and spirits throughout her life, and so she's coming on and share some of those stories with us this evening.
I can't wait. We all love a good ghost story. Just talking about the 10th Avenue Theater tour of that haunted building this month.
Yes, so on October 7th, 13th, 30th, and 31st, we're going to be having a paranormal lockdown for the Terror at the 10th. This theater is extremely old. It was San Diego's very first Catholic church in our what was called Newtown area, but is currently our Gaslamp area. And it's definitely a lot of fun. We are going to lock everybody down. You guys will get a tour of the building, hear about all the spirits that are inside. And then we do like a little mini seance and then investigation before we send you on your way. So look out for the advertisements coming out. We will be selling tickets on Eventbrite.
It really is a haunted area in this building. So you do know that going in. There she goes.
There, how is that?
Hi, we can hear you.
Hi.
So we were just telling everybody a little bit about you, but if you want to introduce yourself and just share some information about you, and then we're going to go ahead and in a little bit get into the stories that you have.
Okay. Well, I am Jessi Satiar, and I am a musician by profession, but my whole life has been paranormal. I have had paranormal experience all my life. I'm clairaudible, I'm clairvoyant, I have visions, and I feel. I have photographs of several encounters that I've had, which I will share with you all tonight. It was hard to pick out a couple of my stories, but I have picked up pictures of one of my stories. It's about an entity that was in my garage.
Well, I'm really excited because both Janine and I have crazy stories and entities and hatmans and shadow people and you name it. Yeah. So we all love to get nice and cozy and hear some true ghost stories.
So Jessi, go ahead and tell us your story.
My kid's stepdad was, we used to go dirt biking, and he was putting together a Volkswagen bug, the beetle bug, that from a long time ago in the garage. And I walked downstairs. There's no windows. There's no way to have any outside light enter this garage because the staircase goes around the corner and up. You shut the door and it's complete blackness. You can't see your hand in front of your face. Well, I went down there, and on top of the toolbox, he had a Polaroid picture. But as soon as I entered into the downstairs, I felt a presence. I looked at the picture, and I told him, who he did not believe in this kind of things, that we have visitors. And he goes, "What do you mean visitors?" I said, "There's spirits here. Okay, there's energies here." And he goes, "Oh, I don't believe in that stuff." I said, "Well, if you take a look at this picture, which I'm going to show you right now, this picture is..."
There you go, right there. Perfect.
Okay. Now that is with the light on. And if you can see the orb and the haziness, that told me right away that what I was feeling was indeed a presence. So I said, "Look at this picture." I said, "There's several of them. I don't believe in that stuff." I said, "Okay, well, go. I'm going to turn the light off upstairs and shut the door. And you're going to go and stand on the second step up, which was where he was standing when he took this picture. And I want you to take a picture in the same direction, the same spot as you took this one." He says, "Oh, okay, yeah, right, okay." So I go upstairs, I shut the light off, and he was already in place. He snaps a picture. So, and then, now this is with the light off. Now this is what came up next. This is with the light off. The orbs are even brighter.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
gosh.
He's going, oh, it's a film. It's defective film. I said, no, it's not. It's very obvious. I said, okay, then just stay right there. Take another picture, okay? Because you will see that I'm not joking. So this is the picture that came up when he took the next picture.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's creepy.
that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Now, and you
Yeah.
have to remember, he's standing 2 steps up from the ground, and this guy is looking him straight in the eye. So this is a very large being, kind of looking him straight in the eyes, saying, "Now do you believe her?" Kind of like,
Right.
Wow, that's awesome.
you
Love
know.
it.
How
Now
cool.
this is a picture of the room when there's no entities there. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures and the difference in the pictures with what I just showed you. This is the room when no one is present. Okay, see the light is
A
on.
Oh,
clear difference.
clear as a bell.
Now after a while, I came to know him as Paul. Okay, he told me the name was Paul. Now I don't know who he had with him, but my gifts tell me is that he picked up a part from a junkyard from a car for this bug he was building. Somebody was very attached to the vehicle that this part was part of, I believe. The guy died in a crash. He was very attached to his vehicle, and he was attached to that part that he was using to put together this dune buggy type vehicle to ride, out in the desert. So that is what I got out of that, because once the car was gone, there was nothing down there.
That's
Nothing.
so interesting because we think of attachments being to people, and sometimes we think of, haunted items. But
Mhm.
to think that, it was a beloved car, he owned it, he probably perished in it. And
Right,
so he got a chance to, travel with it.
right.
So, oh my gosh, but those pictures are amazing. That last one, there. So
Yeah, he was going,
here's the
now do you
figure.
believe her?
Yeah, you're right.
And so he says, well, I better watch what I say down here. He was very spooked by,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, Janine, yourself, I'm sure, and it's normal. It's part of my everyday life. My house is the home that I live in is mine, and is like a vortex because
Uh,
my kid's stepdad's dad built the house. So my kid's stepdad grew up in the house, and he remembers seeing things in the front living room, which the children were not allowed in the front living room. Saw an electric man, he called him an electric man, climb out of the floor and then disappear into the fireplace. Now, the way he described it was like a negative to old film, when films had negatives.
yeah.
Where,
Yes.
okay, now this takes me into my next story that I'm going to tell you about. When his mom passed away, we moved into the house, and I had gigs all weekend. So we had a ranch up north we were selling, and he was already up there. So I was going to fly out. It's like 6 a.m. Monday morning, and I was sitting on the couch. It was against the wall, and there was a coffee table in front of me, and then there was an old school big TV in the corner to my left, caddy, kind of like angled caddy corner. And I was looking at the TV. It hadn't been used in years, wasn't plugged in, and I keep seeing movement in the reflection of the TV screen. So I kind of got scared. I thought, oh my God, somebody's in my house, because I was the only one home. And so I'm going, checking all the rooms and doors and everything like that. And I was, relieved to not find anybody in my house. So I went back and I sat down on the couch, and there was still movement in the TV screen. So I tried to find a baseline, and I found me in that reflection. Then I was able to make out the coffee table in front of me. And on the other side of the coffee table, there was a lady, and she had, now, this is like a negative, okay? These are white people. She had brown skin, and her blonde hair was black, okay? And it kind of flipped up like that. And she was dancing, just continued dancing on the other side of the coffee table. And there was 2 or 3 people to my left with drinks in their hand, and same to my right with drinks in their hand. This house, there was 9 sisters and brothers on the other side. They used to have family gatherings on holidays and birthdays at this house. Now, every so often, a tall man would walk out from the bedroom, stop and dance with her for a few minutes, and then continue on to the kitchen. So I called my ex after, this went on for 45 minutes. This is the most visual encounter I've ever had in my life. I told him what happened and what I saw. He says, oh my gosh, that's my Aunt Opal. She died when I was 10 years old, because I described her to a T. Now, he said, that was my dad, who was also passed away at the time. That was my dad, and he used to dance with my Aunt Opal all the time because she loved to dance, and her husband would never dance with her. So that was, and then the people in the background were other family members that were gathered for a family gathering at this house. I felt like they were welcoming me into the family. I felt a sense of relief that they liked me, and they were welcoming me into the family. I felt like they had gathered to welcome me into the family and into the home. And that leads me to just a teeny tidbit of another encounter with the TV screen, and that was the hallway from this room leads to my kitchen. And I saw coming down the hallway 2, I thought they were midgets. They were dressed in Depression era clothing, like farm boys or something like that. And they had these tall hats on with this little tiny brim that goes around the hat. And they just kind of glided together, like just 2 of them, just identical. And they came into the room, and then they got up on the couch, and they sat down behind me, part of the couch that you lean back on. They just sat down behind me, and they were just sitting there. Now, this happened during the daytime. The other one happened at night. This happened during the daytime. So I went into the bedroom, and I asked my ex if he had any twins in the family. And he says, no twins in the family. And then about 10 minutes later, he comes out, he goes, yes, there were twins in the family. My dad had twin brothers that were 5 years old. They died of rheumatic fever at 5 years old. So they weren't midgets, they were children.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I could write a book. I have so many encounters, and the majority of them, there were people there to witness objects being thrown to me, leaping off of a table.
Yes.
And
isn't Jessi, isn't that the most remarkable thing? Because I've had the remote come off the TV set and float across the whole living room and go at a diagonal and then land at the floor at someone's feet. And I mean, things that defy any logic. And
right.
Foxes waving like this, and then when you don't notice them, or you just kind of let it go, they just stop.
Well, there are no mathematical equations for the intangible.
Right.
Very true.
So, it's not of this world. It's the invisible world is at a higher vibrational rate than we are. That's why you always see them gliding, because their feet are not on the ground.
Right. I have a girlfriend who lived by a mortuary, and she was at her grandmother's when one night they were out on the front porch, and she says, Debbie, all these people were gliding down the road from the mortuary, going down the road, and they had smoke, she said, at their feet. So we know ectoplasm or something going on there. This is the thing, Jessi and Janine. We're beacons. They come to us, right? They noticed, they want to communicate. So they noticed, and they glided over to the porch. And my poor friend was scared to death. She didn't know what was going on, and she could only hear mumbling. So she wasn't to the point where she could get their words.
Right. Right.
But interesting enough, she didn't want to have that happen anymore. And so the grandmother wrote out some kind of a thing. I don't know what she wrote out, if it was a Bible verse or what. She put it in a certain page in the Bible and put that under her pillow. And it never happened again. She does see things now, but that never happened again where they're coming after her. But she sees a specific thing now. She sees demons. And so it's that discernment of demons that they talk about in 2 Corinthians. So anyway, she can see those people. But when this started happening, it was so scary. She was a little girl. But she'll never forget, they were just gliding with smoke at their feet.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I found like when I was younger, before it got really strong, my abilities, it did kind of almost sound like they were mumbling because I wasn't quite vibrating high enough to hear them, because they do just about everything at a higher frequency, and it's a bit faster than what we are.
Right. Right.
That's why with the EVPs, because they are definitely attracted to electronics, I think. That's I even have some weird stories with televisions as well, but we have to slow down the recordings to sometimes capture or hear what the EVPs are saying, because of how fast they're moving compared to us. The only time I've actually had a spirit follow me home. How did she communicate that she was there? Well, I had one of those radio sets that had the record player on the top, had cassette tapes, and it ran AM and FM radio, and then it had a 5-disc changer on the bottom. Well, at this point, the only part that actually worked was that 5-disc changer. I had accidentally yanked out the antenna. So anytime you would push the button to turn on the AM or FM, all you would hear is white noise. But you literally physically had to push the buttons to change those settings. Well, all hours of the day and night, suddenly it would turn on to one of the radio stations and just start blasting white noise. Wow. And so I thought, okay, there's got to be a timer or something on this. And my ex-husband checks it out. He goes, there's no timer on this. So I think it's just malfunctioning. So one night we are leaving to go to a baseball game, and the white noise starts blaring. And I turn around and I say, "Who is that?" And I hear, "It's Jamie." Wow. That was the name on the grave that I was tugged at. Wow. It was Jamie Lyons. Okay. And so I did let her know that she couldn't stay in my home, that she was going to have to go back, but that we would come and visit her regularly. Here's the kicker. Her gravesite at the time stated that she was a little boy. But I was able to prove that she was female by pulling up the census report for the year that she died. And she was listed on that census report as a female, not a male. So I took this information to the Whaley house. They actually did change the sign. It no longer says son of and this and that and the other, but they did miss one little word at the very bottom. It says he was loved, but she seems to be satisfied with most of the changes because we don't see her as often anymore.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Very, very interesting.
We're just like this light. They see us. They know. I'll try to ignore them sometimes, and it'll be like, no, you see us.
Yeah.
The story about the seance that we did in your house and how you had warded everything before everybody came in, and what was happening after the seance took place.
Wait a minute. I've had so many seances. Which one was it?
So do you remember the time that we were at your house and it was a group of us and we were doing a reading for one of your friends?
Yes.
And we were sending her the recordings.
Right.
And when we were done, you had warded the house so well that all the spirits that knew we were there started floating up past the windows.
And looking in because they can't get in. And so I'm, really well versed in keeping things out and deflection and protection. And so, I did it. It was so funny. Like, we're all talking afterwards. It was an incredible seance. And all of a sudden you and Chris, I think, are like laughing. And there's windows. I'm actually in the office right now. Over there are the windows. And so they come in and they look. They come back and look.
And here's the thing is we were on the second floor.
Yeah, second floor.
So we're seeing these men's faces coming up past the window. And we're on the second floor and they're just peeking in. What's
Oh.
interesting too is like I feel like they sense when there's a bunch of us together, that energy makes it even like a bigger beacon. So
Right.
literally, you guys may not be in the room with me, but I don't know if you guys heard around the 12-minute mark when we were talking, the door down the hall for me slam shut.
I heard that.
Oh,
We'll have to, when we watch the video again, I'm pretty sure it was very loud. It kind of made me jump. My bedroom door slammed shut, and I'm the only one home right now. So I think whoever is around is like, hey, there's 3 of you. Pay attention to me. I'm here.
right.
Uh-huh.
I had Jessi at night. And I'd wake up and I'd hear bam, 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 and I'd look and it was 3 a.m. And I didn't think anything, what is going on? I'd go, look, there's nothing, but really loud. And I thought it would be midnight, and then everybody says, no, 3 a.m. And so they woke me up over and over again. And finally I yelled out. I was mad. And I said, never again. You will not wake me up. I need to sleep. No, bam, bam, bam. Time went on, that it stopped. And I thought, good, because I'll wake up and I'll see like a lady there looking at me, or the hag. I have that one and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. But one time I had to get up early. It was like 1 or 2 a.m. So I set an alarm and I said out loud, okay, I'm going to get up at, 7:30. And in my head, I said, make it 7:40, right? So I put it down and I went to sleep. And I remember waking up and I hear 4 proper knocks. And I flew out of my bed and I went to I'm like, I don't have any kids here. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
4 proper knocks. And I went, and I ran and looked at the clock and it was 7:30. And I said, so you guys can't get in my head. You cannot read my mind. I learned something because I said out loud, I need to get up at 7:30. So they go, what do we do? I can't knock 3 times. She'll get mad. 1, 2, 3, 4 woke me up. And then I go, oh my goodness, I need to speak to them if I want to communicate, because they cannot, there's no telepathy with them. Right. And And so I said, I had 10 more minutes. So that was really an interesting thing. But, they love to knock things over. And at my house, it's always movement or we're flying. And I just get so excited. I get so tickled. And I know that most people would just run out of their house and put a for sale sign up.
Right. That's very true. People like us it's normal. It's not weird. It's just part of life. We have the ability to experience both the intangible world and the material world. And I truly believe that when a child is born, the energy is not permanently fixed into that child's body. Because I remember my mother holding my baby body in her arms, feeding me baby aspirin from my little silver baby spoon. But I was not looking up at my mother out of my body. I was looking down from I was maybe like 2 feet away from her, and about maybe my head was like maybe a foot higher than my mother's. She was sitting down. And this occurred to me maybe a few years ago that I was not in my body at that time. Now, the Mormons believe that they call the passing of the veil. At 2 years old, the child has made the complete transition into the physical body permanently by the age of 2. That memory of mine confirmed that I think that there's something to that. Is it a transition? That's why I'm Jewish. We don't cremate. And I believe that it's because it's painful. It's painful because as it takes time to transition into the body permanently, it takes time to transition out of the body as well. So when they are burning these people, they have not completed their transition out of the physical body. So they're going to feel pain.
Oh, gosh. When you were talking about the veil, one thing I was going to say before. Is my girlfriend that sees the demons now and saw the people gliding and stuff. She was born with the veil. So with the veil over her.
Yes.
And she always knew that she was psychic and all of that because, back then they said if you're born with that, what was it? The sac you are.
Yes, I forgot the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I know the veil you're talking about.
Yeah. She always knew that, but she had the bad side of everything because there was an attachment to her husband. And so it would open the cupboards in the kitchen and throw out the glasses and break them against the sliding glass door. And they had spontaneous fires in the oven or on the stove just for nothing's on. And they had floods and they had rats in the walls. And this happened. They moved from one house to another to get away from it. But of course it came with. And just terrible haunting that and Janine and I are the same and the team as well, as we're not afraid. We go at things, but I would not step foot in her house because this thing was powerful. And very dark. And so we would sit with patio chairs out at her front door because I would not go in. And I said, we don't need that because both of them became sick. The whole family, it was always ill. Yeah, just sick all the time. And she finally, when she divorced and everything, she felt like something may have come over, but we got it out. She's free from all of that. But it was a really scary time, and especially for electricity in the wall in these newer homes. My friend wrote a book and she's been on a lot of the television shows, and she has a warfare prayer. And I always tell everyone, if you have anything that's really strong and you need help, you need to get help. But I can give anybody the warfare prayer. Very strong prayer that she uses when she's facing the demons is what she's usually doing.
Debbie, were you with us when we did that house out in Lakeside, the very big house for the Chaldean woman?
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever follow up with you about what ended up happening?
I don't know if you did or not.
So we did this investigation, this beautiful house. So she said, my sister's got this very dark energy around her. I need you guys to please come in, investigate, figure out what's there and get rid of it. And what it was an attachment of this very evil man that she used to date. And he wasn't going to let her go even in death. So he was following her and attaching to her, making her ill, causing havoc in the house. We cleared him. The problem was she had such an attachment to him as well that she kept letting the spirit back in. And then she would get so sick that she would have us come back out and clear it again. Well, 2 years passes and we hadn't heard anything back. And I run into her sister and I said, hey, I've been having really weird dreams about your sister. And I feel like something bad is going to happen to her. She goes, my sister died 2 days ago.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Now, honestly, I cannot say for sure, but I do believe that attachment is what wore her down and ended up leading to her untimely demise. Because she was only in her early 60s.
Wow. I actually remember going to that one where they had the child in the portal in the child's room. You remember that one?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we found out there was a suicide in that house.
Yeah, and something coming out. Remember, Sean got wild root. That's where I learned about wild root seed and the Persian, and he lit it, and we closed the portal there. But the baby would be in the crib staring at that same corner in the room constantly. And so something was happening. And so they were concerned that it was right around the baby. So I remember that one. But yes, Janine is like, I always told her that she is so good at being that psychic and that medium and being out there in a business that she needed to go there. And I'm so glad that you are. And Janine, and she's written these books and a journal, and we got to advertise all that stuff.
I would
But
really love to get a hold of those books and read them myself.
there you go.
Yep, they're on Amazon. So if you guys are interested in my book, it's My Paranormal Life Growing Up Psychic on Amazon. I also have a dream, a prayer, and a gratitude journal available for purchase.
Okay.
And drops book number 2, My Paranormal Life, Ghosts Don't Say Boo. So keep your eyes out for that.
That's
I like
cute.
that. Don't say
I
boo.
love it.
Okay.
Well, Jessi, we're going to go ahead and let you go. I will
Yeah,
definitely be in
thank
touch with you this week, and we'll set up another date for you to come on and share some more of your story.
Okay, everybody.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good
Stay
night.
spooky.
Good night.